Understanding the dot product kernel in scikit-learn's Gaussian processes. The dot product kernel, also known as the linear kernel in the context of Gaussian processes (GPs), is a fundamental kernel used in scikit-learn for modeling data with linear relationships. 1. Definition and formula. The dot product kernel measures the similarity between two data points based on their inner product. Formally, given two data points x and x, the kernel function is defined as kx, xxtx. 2. Interpretation and assumptions. Linearity. This kernel assumes the data is inherently linear. It means that the relationships between the input features and the target variable can be well represented by a linear function. Similarity. The kernel value represents the degree of similarity between two data points. A higher dot product implies greater similarity, indicating that the data points are closer together in the feature space. No explicit feature transformation, unlike some other kernels like the RBF kernel. The dot product kernel does not involve any implicit feature transformation. It directly uses the original features to compute similarity. 3. Advantages and disadvantages. Advantages. Simplicity. It is one of the simplest kernels to understand and implement, requiring only basic linear algebra operations. Interpretability. The kernel function is straightforward and directly reflects the linear relationships in the data. Efficiency. Computationally efficient, especially for large datasets, as it only requires calculating dot products. Disadvantages. Limited expressiveness. The dot product kernel can only model linear relationships. For data with nonlinear relationships, it may not be suitable. Sensitivity to outliers, as it is based on inner products. The dot product kernel can be sensitive to outliers in the data. No hyperparameters. The kernel does not have any tunable hyperparameters, which might limit its flexibility in fitting the data. 4. Usage and applications. Linear regression. The dot product kernel is a natural choice for linear regression problems, as it directly models the linear relationship between features and the target variable. Kernel ridge regression. It can be used in the context of kernel ridge regression for linear prediction tasks. Feature selection. The kernel can be used to identify the most relevant features by analyzing weights learned by the model. 5. Hyperparameters. The dot product kernel in scikit-learn does not have any hyperparameters to tune. 6. Example in scikit-learn. Python. From sklearn, Gaussian process import Gaussian process regressor. From sklearn, Gaussian process, kernels import dot product. Define the kernel. Kernel dot product. Create a Gaussian process regression model. Model Gaussian process regressor kernel. Fit the model to the data. Model. Fit xtrain. Y-train. Make predictions. YPRED model. Predict xtest. 7. Conclusion. The dot product kernel is a simple and interpretable kernel suitable for modeling linear relationships in data. It offers advantages in terms of simplicity and computational efficiency. However, it lacks the expressiveness of nonlinear kernels and can be sensitive to outliers. 8. Considerations. If you have data with nonlinear relationships, consider using a different kernel like the RBF kernel or other kernels from scikit-learn's kernel library. Explore data preprocessing techniques such as feature scaling and outlier removal to mitigate sensitivity to outliers. If you need more flexibility in modeling the data, consider using a kernel with tunable hyperparameters. This detailed explanation helps you understand the dot product kernel in scikit-learn's Gaussian processes and its strengths and weaknesses. Choose wisely based on the characteristics of your data and the modeling task.